I don't hear it either.
Hello and welcome. Oh, did it not play? Hello. I wonder if it played. I can cut this out when we do the audio. Hello and welcome to Critical Reroll, the podcast by the critters for the critters. My name is Matt, and even though I don't live near a beach, I'm pretty sure I might like a long walk on one.
I'm Dustin.
Oh, hold on, Dustin. You kind of
We're
went
both
robot-y for
frozen.
a second.
Yeah, you're all robot-y too.
Oh no.
And I'm looking at the stream, and both me and Herc are frozen. You're the only one moving.
Yeah,
Oh, there we
everything
go.
stopped working, but now it's back again.
Now
we
it's
should start
back.
over.
I said my thing. Do I have to do my thing again?
Yeah, we should just start over.
Clean
That was-
start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clean
I'll
start.
do like
Surprise.
this. Ba, ba, da, the music and live. Welcome to Critical Reroll, the podcast by the critters for the critters about Critical Role. My name is Matt. I'm one of your hosts, and even though I don't live near a beach, I'm sure I'd like a long walk on one.
And I'm Dusty at GeoNerd. And I love shopping in all games.
And I'm Herky, and I'm not dead yet.
Woo! Best clerics in the world. Somewhere.
They were pretty good.
They're pretty great. So episode 58 is an episode after, a lot of like fun lore got dropped, and then we got to shop for a couple hours.
Listen, it wasn't just a shopping episode.
I
We
know.
didn't buy that much.
That's true. They did spend a lot, but they didn't buy a lot. Because they got like a couple diamonds now. They got some healing potions, some weird sex juice.
Clothes. They didn't buy the sex juice, okay?
They stole
But
that.
they got it during the shopping.
Yes.
But it's just pedal water.
I'm not going to go into it. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so we kind of start with something that I forgot that they had, which were large, like, demon dogs that brought them to this town. They're kind of woken up by the shop owner.
How do you forget about the Moorbounders?
I completely forgot about them. They went underground, and then they came up, and then now they're in, like, the capital city, and then, hey, they had, weird
I like
mud dogs.
that the Empire, or not the Empire, but I like that they got dropped off. Because they left and like toured the city and left those beasts in like, the teleporting area. And then someone just came and lashed them to the inn that they were staying at. That must have been a fun dragging those things out.
Yeah, like who was able to tame them long enough to like pull them over there? Did they get magically brought over, or like bond with beasts spells or whatever those are called? Speak with animals, all that fun stuff.
It probably wasn't the best.
But
Yeah, I was wondering if they were actually beasts. Did we ever get to see their character sheet, like their?
I don't
stats
think
and
there was.
stuff?
I don't think there was any. There's been no stats for them. I do like a lot of the different interpretations of the art for them because I still have trouble like picturing exactly what they look like.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we
yeah,
got
I don't
another
think there's.
description of like lean bison.
Yeah, like they actually got to like ride them in this episode, which was fun to see, and like Matt describing how weird it feels. But yeah, I don't think they've been any sort of stats or anything like that, other than they're really good jumpers.
the way that I kind of picture at least their face and body structure is Avatar: The Last Airbender, the like panda deity from the spirit realm, minus like the extra set of arms, where there's kind of like a main body, but, like a smooth face.
I've been picturing more of like a giant naked gopher thing.
Okay.
But then like more cat. I don't know. I keep picturing like naked mole rats. I don't know why.
Yeah, I could see that too. But we'll have to
But
wait.
mole rats aren't like vicious like that. I
These
mean,
are
No, I know, but
vicious.
like skin and body type. I keep seeing that, and then some weird mouth thing.
These ones
they're
are
not
mad.
hairless.
But like
though,
when
right?
Matt
They
described
have-
like the side fish eyes, all I see are giant actual fish eyes in my brain, and I can't like meld his description into something that looks
well, think more like bovine, like cow,
okay.
like bison, like on the side of their heads.
Yeah, okay, I can kind of see that.
No, so I was wondering because you mentioned bee spawn and stuff. I didn't think that they might not be beasts because of
Oh yeah, like
how big
monstrosities.
they are. Yeah, they might be something like that. But Caduceus did talk to them, so I guess they are beasts.
Yeah, he does do his furball talking. So
Yeah.
Yeah, which is neat because like that's just a neat feat for furbolgs to have, and super useful now. But we got already Ford being his chaotic self with like, yeah, we just let him go, let him loose, see what happens. And he kind of keeps this level of like chaos throughout this episode of just kind of like, I don't know, just doing not the smartest thing, but like I keep saying the word chaotic, but like the most chaotic thing.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about Ford lately. He's been acting
Extra
odd, crazy.
yeah, especially this episode, and through he's been acting a little.
Oh, provoking! That's what he's doing. Nice. Okay, you got it. Good job,
Interesting.
Sundu. You win. It's like the first
I guess
word that
that's
he
a
was told, right?
good way to put it.
Because what is there like provoke watching? I don't remember. My used to have them written down, but it's been so long, and I'm on a new notebook.
It's very like jester-like, but like mean-spirited.
Yeah, yeah, it's very like in the style of Jester, but very like just assholey,
Yeah.
mean.
Which is fun when we meet a blacksmith. So Caduceus has had this like hilt and part of a sword for a while, and he keeps trying to get identified. So he keeps trying to find somebody to repair it. They come up to this blacksmith's shop where there is a half-orc working there, and he's got a similar accent to Ford that everyone immediately picked up on.
And he's a big guy, big half orc.
Yeah, like meets eyes with Caduceus.
Yeah, and we learned like I really liked this whole interaction because we learned a lot about like he knows the Sevalier wood, and there's a lot of
like the differentiation from the Bloom Garden versus the Bone Orchard. Like, is that just what Caduceus calls it, the Bloom Garden or the Blooming Grove, and then everyone else calls it the Bone Orchard because it's a field of corpses, graveyard.
Yeah, he seemed to not really like that name, but he knew other people called it that.
yeah like I liked that there was like some sort of different lore kind of names depending on who calls that place. And I liked that he was kind of like, well, I've very like uncomfortable with a couple of those names.
But through talking with this guy, he's got tattoos that are kind of important to his hometown. They kind of like show where they hunt. So I guess first impressions, did you guys think that this could be like important to where Ford came from?
Well, I think I didn't think that either. I thought maybe like it's just the orc dialect sort of thing.
I didn't even go that far. Like, there are only so many accents. They're
Yeah.
bound to be reused. There are other people who have similar accents to Ford that are not half orcs. Like, it's just gonna happen.
Well, and there's historical like things for that. Like Mercer has used different accents for different same accents for different races. Like it's just you can only do so much. But I did like that as he was talking about where he was like giving a general overall that most of the orcs are just trying to live their lives and doing the hunt. He said like maybe there's like a couple people that might be a little more bloodthirsty, but it was more like setting the tone that in Matt's world that the orcs aren't all just big bad and evil. Yeah.
But even then, the whole like don't forget. This guy was pretty encouraging the whole time. But like,
well, and he called Ford out on his bullshit too,
yes.
Which I liked.
Sort of. Yeah. First of all, I love this guy, but I think it probably started because he at first called Ford an inquisitive runt, which I think immediately it just like flipped Ford's switch and was like, I don't like this guy. But I did like his advice. He seemed to kind of not really take any shit, but kind of give Ford some pretty good guidance.
Yeah, like don't be ashamed of being an orc, man. Like, well, then we learned a bunch because Ford definitely takes a hit, and changes his attitude when anyone mentions like his frame and his strength and stuff like that. And afterwards, when we get the like, didn't you know your family? We learn that he did grow up in an orphanage, and didn't really ever learn how to be an orc. But then, like, I still think, like, because this guy was a half orc and he was he's a blacksmith, so he's going to be working out a lot. But there's definitely, and I wonder if it's the warlocky side of him or something, but he's definitely, not built like most even half orcs. So there's still something there, I think.
Yeah, but they also come from very different places.
Yeah, and like we don't know exactly what orcs Ford's lineage comes from either.
Or what?
I mean, right, and he grew up in a place where there weren't really orcs around.
Yeah, where there was something to hide ground down your teeth. And...
Also, let's just talk about naming an orphanage Driftwood Asylum is just a fun, happy place.
Not great place. We found out this guy's Warsh. I kept saying that he's from the Shire because he's Warsh the Shire sauce. Anyway.
Oh.
But no, he has a lot of, like, be yourself. Don't be afraid of your blood. Don't let anybody, like, tell you how to live. But then he did, like, the weird, like, this blood, and scratches himself.
Wow.
And then shakes hands with it.
He's super buff. Even his advice apps.
That's true. Real quick, I want to pause the podcast. I want to switch regions on Discord, see if it, like, stops the freezing in Robot. Does that make sense? Would think that would do anything?
I'm just at a still thing there because all I hear is Robot.
Yep. We're gonna wait for the robot to pass. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Cool, I'm switching regions. Don't go away. I wonder if that's gonna do anything.
All it did was change your video quality.
Cool, like better? Probably worse.
No, worse.
Yeah.
I switched it to east because you guys are on the east. Well, Herky's on the east.
I am on the east.
You're on the west. I'm in the central.
And I have incredibly good internet speed.
Cool. We'll just leave it like this for a second. Hi, guys. Thanks for bearing with us. And podcast resume. Yeah, this guy, he like hit Ford in his ego, and then they kind of like repaired it towards the end. So we might have a friend. We also learned that the
Well, because they did like mention like they did ask him like if he ever wanted to like go north again or whatever, travel with them. So there might be that possibility later.
Road trip.
Yeah, I hope we see him again. I like him a lot.
Warsh. Meanwhile, Bo and Caleb go to the Marble Tome Conservatory to read some books, and we meet the most eccentric professor ever.
Okay, can I just make a comment about the splitting of the groups in this episode?
Yes, I have that note too.
Why did no one just like, okay, we know this place is like humans bad, but we're gonna send the two humans off alone. No worries.
The ones who
just like those.
Okay.
Like those, I know, but like those badges aren't gonna like. They keep treating those badges like it's like. We could do whatever we want.
This is my fast pass. Let me go to the front of the line. I paid extra for this.
Yeah, you still have to wait in line for fast pass.
No one was interested in going there. None of them had any reason to do that.
That's true. But there was like no pushback to like, hey, we're gonna split up. Even though all of the other places, it's like, okay, you two, we need to keep you safe. Change the way you look so you fit in.
Yeah.
It's just regarding Caleb, don't give a shit.
Not anymore.
I do like that they're just kind of like done. But also this, the accent Matt uses for this orc professor, and her. Oh man, I just like I don't trust. I got nothing but like I just don't trust this character
at all.
But I just love the whole interaction when she's just like treating them like looking at their the muscly one. Oh, this one's got a hygiene problem. Just like
it's like inspecting their mouths and like just looking at everything. Waka is great though.
I do like her. It's important to note that before they leave, Jester does plead for Beauregard to draw some dicks and says it's very important to make sure that dicks get into those books somehow. It's also weird and interesting that Caleb almost immediately just like gives her his spell book,
Yeah, that
which
was.
shows a hell of a lot of trust.
And it was odd that they like. I don't. I had this just image in my head of like a large library that they were going to go in and just have fun with it. But it ended up them going in and like just being kind of corralled into this one room with this one professor and kind of just like you could tell that they didn't like humans because they're like, hey, there's humans here to see you, and they kept saying like we're here doing research for the queen, for the bright queen. It's like that's you're going back to your lion roots. Don't do that. That's not why you're here. You're just here to learn. Yeah, but
Sort of.
It is weird that they just kind of went in there. Quick pause again. I was gonna say we lost Dustin. He froze. This is going great, y'all. I don't know what to do with this.
I mean, Dustin's just gonna have to reconnect.
Yeah, I'm gonna type that, but then oh. Best podcast in the land.
We should do our podcast in the sea.
That would
there are probably fewer ones there.
Yeah. International waters. Everybody's got fiber out there. Let's try West Coast. There we go.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We're gonna just take a second, let everything reconnect. That was weird. Love the internet. Love doing all this stuff. And go. So yeah, the professor's super eccentric, asking every single question. She was real like, oh, where are you guys from? You're asking a lot of questions. You from the Empire? And they're like, yeah, we are. But then they just started like spilling a bunch of random secrets about like we're building these war machines and
well, like yeah, like they're like before I got cut off, I was trying to like say like as you're saying they're leading them to like through this area, and then like she is like in charge of like research for the war machine of Xhorhas, and it's just like, okay, well this wasn't the person I was expecting as a Professor Waka or whatever. I was just like, oh okay, so yeah, so she's definitely not trusting of them at all.
Weapons of intense destruction.
Yeah, that's not surprising though. Before everything got cut off, you were mentioning, Matt, that they thought that they were just going to be able to go in there and do some research and stuff. And I mean, yeah, that's not going to happen. They try to ask her about that, and she's just like, no. There's too much stuff there that there's too much sensitive information for them at this moment. And even then, like, what exactly are they trying to research and do right now?
Yeah, like
what are they trying to find answers to?
Just like they don't have the questions yet. You need to get those first.
Well, yeah, and especially like the people that are over here right now that really need questions answered. Well, yes, FMA. Like, I mean, Caleb wants to know about Dunamancy, I'm sure, but like it's Caduceus that wants to know like locations of things, and they're two humans. They're gonna have to build a lot of trust before they're even allowed to see like anything related to Empire,
especially with this person that's like,
Dynasty.
Are you guys defectors? Are you double agents? They're like, no, we just want to hear. That's something a double agent would say.
Yeah, and that gets very slippery territory in the double agent. Double agent
is so inquisitive, and they come off as trusting, but the whole time they're talking and have a little like, I'm pretty sure they probably have like a detect thoughts spell going so they can read surface thoughts.
I didn't see this person as trusting at all from my point of view. Just like,
I thought they were pretty trusting. They're just incredibly smart. They're very much like a Caleb type, where like they just want to know everything and they're very skeptical of what's going on until you prove that you can trust them.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep doing the like throw around. You know, we've got these badges. You know, we're on here. Orders from the queen. They're like, I got connections too, so we'll see. You're human, and I live here. is kind of where you're at.
Oh, it's also like important to note that Wako is like no affiliation with any of the dens.
Oh, I didn't catch that part.
Because she said that she's not affiliated with a den.
And what she was an orc? What was she?
She was an orc. Yeah.
So how did she get there? Is another question. Like, is she from the?
She's smart.
Is that just it though? Like, I'm here on a grant. I passed all my tests and applied to this position. Have they been through whatever the process is of like being reborn multiple times? I want to know everything about this person.
Yeah, I don't think they're consecuted though.
Yeah, they'd have to be part of a den to do that.
Yeah.
So the quest that she gives them is that the Steelworks, which is an area that's been kind of tacked on to the Deep River mining camp since the kind of war started, has been attacked by giants kind of out of nowhere. They knew that giants were somewhere within that area, but they don't typically attack and raise and occupy like this, but they're currently kind of holding that base, and they tried to fight them off as much as they could and are hoping to retake that because they need that in order to continue engineering some of these war machines. Also, that the foreman there is a prick.
Yeah,
yeah.
Say, like, she doesn't have a good.
Yeah, her and the foreman apparently have some sort of issues.
But it was nice that she's like, you know, you can still hate somebody, but you can work with them. Like, it's true.
Yeah. So she was hoping that these humans and whatever friends they had could go and clear the giants from there. And if possible, I guess, publicly humiliate the foreman.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the negotiation of what she had to offer to pay with some bag of gems or some random magical items, I think there was like the thrown in idea that you can get more if you can like embarrass him. Which they were like already like keen. Oh yeah, we got a ringer for that one. Like,
what did you guys think of the magic items? Do you think they're gonna try to take them up? Because there was the ring of evasion, the cloak that's like the cloak from Cloak and Dagger, and then what was the last thing?
The staff of withering.
The staff is the most exciting one to me.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I think that's the one that they should take. So, weirdly enough, like, Bo says that it's a staff that, like, Caduceus could make use of, but I don't think Caduceus ever has or ever will make a melee attack against something.
Yeah, like, I thought the exact same thing, too.
Because, I mean, that's what it does. It deals extra damage on melee attacks, and then gives them disadvantage on strength and constitution ability checks and saves. The only problem is, so normally a staff like that would be amazing for Beauregard. Like, Beauregard can use that to attack with and do some shit ton of damage, but these things are not attunable by monks.
Or like boil it and give it to Ford for breakfast, see what it does to his saber.
That's interesting. I was thinking maybe Jester, because she actually does make melee attacks.
Mm-hmm. And what she had like a sickle before, right?
Yeah, and she traded that for a hand axe, which is no better except that it can be thrown.
Yeah.
It was was it a +1 hand axe, I think, or something? I think she like got something special. But to like get the full use, you'd want to use the staff two-handed. So yeah, both should get that if they're gonna do it. But then it was kind of a little bit out of early character for Caleb to like more want the money because he's like, I don't want to like agree to this, and we only get 2 magic items when there's a group of 7 of us.
Yeah, I don't know why they went back and forth so much about figuring out the terms when they could have figured it out when they got back, and that's what they ended up settling on.
Well, there was that confusion of like, are we getting this stuff now before we go on this mission? But that shouldn't have been a question because you always get it afterwards. Maybe
I also love the meta talk of the table being like, we could just deal with like take the item, like
just take the item.
Like how upset the people that weren't there were like, well, no, like items, magic items.
Yeah, like accept the items. They don't have to go to you. You have a group you could share them with.
Yeah. So
But they have to like sign a ledger, right? And that's where Bo finally gets the dick in there.
No, she asks.
Yeah, she asked.
She asks for the a book to prove how they're going to humiliate him, and it was a very, very poor excuse to just draw a dick in a book.
But she did her side mission.
She did it.
She got to clear that part of the right side of the screen.
We also can't forget that she showed her abs.
That's true, yes.
Jersey Shore style, not just show her abs, but
yeah.
that side lift.
Instead of like her pop, she's gonna start like fist pumping.
She will.
Yeah, from this day forth, what you're saying, we're gonna call her the situation now.
Yeah, I wish there was a much better pun, but there's no way to turn the situation in Beauregard into something good. But yeah, so they can convince Professor Wacko that they have enough giant killing friends and accept the mission. And that's pretty much what they get from the Empire kids. And then on the other side,
the Empire kids, I like that.
The shoppers buy some diamonds and some clothes. And then they do also get into the potion shop. There's some sex juice.
I did like that Sam was interacting more with their like personal NPC of Yeza, because otherwise you're gonna forget that they're there.
No, I do like Matt chiming in with Yeza being like in the potion shop, because this is like his realm, being just like, these are all poorly made. And like we did get what I imagine is Duragar, like the description of Duragar in the city, and this Duragar, though, because he was talking about the dwarves that were more ashen skin, and so we get to see Duragar in this campaign now.
I don't remember what they look like specifically in the last one, but I've always pictured them like, he mentioned that he has like a big tuft of red beard, right? Which to me just sounds like a regular dwarf. Like I've always pictured Duragar being like gray and having like gray or white beards.
Or
yeah,
like
I've always pictured it like that too, but it's I think more like the ash skin. Yeah, because that threw me off too, because I always thought they were more like shades of gray being, under the ground. But I think in Volos, they are described having that kind of style too. Because I don't remember them being really described in the Underdark campaign or Underdark story in Vox Machina.
Quick side tangent, one thing. We've got Ashley Johnson back in this episode. And
yes, and she got to see the healing potions.
Yeah, she got to see the healing potions that I made, which I want to make them myself, but I don't play D&D in person enough for them to be useful. But it's interesting seeing her play Yasha again, because it really dawned on me that we don't really know Yasha's personality still, and it doesn't feel like Ashley really knows either, because she hasn't gotten to play her that much. And so she kind of just...
been as much created by Matt as it has been Ashley.
Yeah.
The way you said that, where you were like, "Oh, by the way, we have Ashley Johnson," made it seem like we were just like bringing her on the podcast.
Yeah, she's
like,
right
hey,
here.
We have Ashley Johnson here today.
That'd be fun. One day.
Yeah.
Everybody
She's just been over here playing with my dog the entire time.
Everybody tweeted Ashley Johnson to come on our show.
Okay.
But yeah, so she's there. I don't.
So do we think she's here for a while?
I have no idea. I hope so.
Is she here for the summer? I don't know how TV works.
So.
Yeah.
Like when did
It'd be nice if she could have like an extended playtime with her friends.
Yeah.
They didn't mention her being back for a while, I don't think. I don't think she's on like full break yet.
Yeah, and all the jokes of like, man, you picked a good one to come back on. Good shopping episode. Just wanted to throw that out there because Ashley was back and it was great. So yeah, they get diamonds, they get potions. Yeza pisses off people by knowing more than them. And then they kind of talk and they're like, hey, this is the new mission we got. We're going to go kill some giants. And
Bo tells Jester that she only got one dick in, unfortunately.
Always got to go for more dicks.
Next time, maybe she'll get two.
Fit as many dicks in there as you can. But Yeza's kind of like, I don't want to go, and Not's like, I don't want you to go, but hey, let's check in with our son. And Jester more or less ruins him for life with talking to him in his head.
He's gonna have to get used to it.
Yeah, and she
Yeah,
needs to do it
yeah.
again soon because
I just you can't do that. You can't do sending to a kid because they don't understand. And I just love how Matt played it off like, "Hello,
I don't hear you
blue
anymore.
lady," and then you can just see Laura's like, "Oh no,
What
this
have I
was a
done?
bad idea."
I'm not spending another third level spell to fix your son. I messed up. Yeah, and it was fun that like they campaigned to send it to the kid. We're like, hey, can you ask? I forgot woman's name.
Edith.
I was gonna say Gertrude.
You
and
think
I
an
knew that
old
wasn't
woman
right.
would be much better than a young child, though?
But they would
I picture
probably
my
understand
grandma.
it
If
more.
someone's sending to my grandmother, she'd be way more confused.
I mean, yeah.
There's really no winning in this situation. You've convinced
No.
me.
I really think like sending in general, like if you don't
Plan it.
hang around with magic people or let people know beforehand, like, hey, we'll be leaving, but I'll be able to contact you in your head. Don't get freaked out about
It's
it.
literally like you're just standing there like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was great. Like, they got the information they needed though, and I like that Taliesin was the one that pointed out like, you just ruined this kid. Like they're gonna be that kid that saw something in their closet once, and they're always gonna believe it's there, and no one's gonna believe them. Yeah.
They also leave Yeza at the inn and give him pets, which is great. Now we don't need to worry about the pets on an adventure for once.
That's true.
Yep. And maybe they'll actually be trained because Yeza will. I feel like Yeza's smart and could probably get some. Like, I mean, he's got nothing else to do while he's staying in the room. In Jorhas.
Do you guys think it was
as a halfling
reckless to say we're only going to be gone X number of days when they don't know like what they're getting into?
Yes.
Oh, of course, but that's them.
They also didn't even know how far this place is technically.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
not. It's like 3 days, one to get there, one to do the thing, one to get back. Like it takes 2 days to get there.
Yeah, it's just it's just them doing their literal thing that they've been doing for 57 episodes. So I'm sure we'll get there. Like the mines, we don't know what's really going on with the mines, but we know weird things are happening in the land of the betrayer gods. So, I mean, as long as they don't forget that they left Yeza in town and they go off.
So you've now separated this family so much, but you can talk to all of them in their heads.
What happens if like Not dies? Do they just like leave him there forever?
They're not gonna leave him. I think they like him enough to.
They do. He's a good boy.
Yeah. But they mount up. They ask the Moorbounders if they're able to track these gray giants, and then the Moorbounders like, "Yeah, bud, we got it, but we don't have anything to sniff to go on." So Caduceus does something real smart that like I wouldn't have thought of, and offers to like find a guide. And we meet.
Well, that all of that happens after they get to the camp.
Oh yeah. What happens?
Yeah, because they go through the Ghostlands. They see. They
also,
see.
Yasha shaves Caleb. And
yes,
there's some damage done, so it's not just the shopping episode.
That happened before the shopping, right? Because or did that happen after?
No, it happened after.
She bought a straight razor and just like kept it in her pocket all day.
Yeah. But we get some information about like the kind of the outskirts of Gordranus and who lives there, and then the external wall to the Ghostlands, I guess it's called, where they do see a bunch of ghosties. It's really cool sounding.
Yeah, I loved. I mean, we talked about this last week too. And now that we get to see it, it is literally just like
land of ghosts.
Trapped spirits from the wars of the Calamity who just float around, and all the guards seem to have some sort of specially blessed like spears, silvered spears, to like stab at them and banish them away. And it was Caduceus seemed very like curious about everything because that's sort of his thing as being a death cleric.
Weird things are happening in the land of the Betrayer Gods as the Critical Role version of Strange Things Are Afoot at the Circle K. Nice. Salazar Jack. Yeah, I kind of wanted them to stop. Did you guys want them to stop and like at least try to talk to a ghost? See what they're there for? Or see,
I
like,
don't know if the ghosts are nice out there.
I mean, get close enough, and if it attacks, be like, fuck it, we're done. Screw all ghosts.
I don't mess around with ghosts in D&D, so...
Yeah, so here's the problem. Attacking for a ghost means possession, and then bad things happen.
Then aging, or, I mean, I don't know if...
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's some bad shit that happens with ghosts and poltergeists and, like, all of those spectral things, and I just don't...
Yeah, it's
No.
metagamey, and I don't know how much any of those people, besides maybe Liam, know what a ghost in D&D does. But yeah, I've aged and killed people with ghosts like 50 plus years.
Yeah. I've had party members who have aged. Thank God they had elven blood in them. They would have been dead.
And like,
I still think we could have done what I wanted to do, and I'm not going to give up that one session in our D&D game. We could have walked past them.
I mean, we do have 2 clerics though, so there is at least a way to reverse possession with the turn undead.
Right,
But
I thought it was cool
either
how Caduceus is like, poor souls. Like, they're stuck here, they've got nothing to do. Like, they just need to move on. Empty vessels. And then Ford calls them, like, land jellyfish.
But yeah, that's the point, I think, is that they are empty vessels. You can't communicate with them. If there's any sort of relatable interaction between you and them, it'll just be kind of like gibberish. They're not corporeal beings that you can interact with.
Fair enough.
Unless I see it.
But they just zip past them, sleep for the night, get back up, keep heading out. They make it to the camp where they intimidate the shit out of the foreman, basically.
They go right into the embarrassing. Like, that's just straight up. Ford is on a roll.
He's
right out the gate.
Travis is getting used to using that charisma stat.
I do like it when Travis gets to use the charisma, because that is fun.
Yeah, but it was like brutal. So like, I guess
Yeah.
I guess theoretically Bo told them that they need to try to humiliate this guy as well for some sort of extra payment or bonus from Professor Wacko, but
Bonus.
like, that not very public. There's nothing really that's gonna get back to Professor Wacko from what just happened there.
They're just mean.
It was just mean. It was just him and like one other guy who were like, "Who the fuck are you? Why are you here?" And then he just goes ham on this dude, and that's what I was mentioning before. Like, God, Ford's just being an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Well, and part of me thinks that it's more like, I don't think they really. Well, this is the part of me that is projecting onto it, but I like the idea that maybe they didn't really tell Ford about, like, embarrassing him, and Ford was just straight up, like, getting a lot of, like, whatever tension he had from, like, dealing with the blacksmith and all that stuff too. He's just dumping it out in just a horrible asshole way again, and I'm just like, oh yeah, it was brutal. Like, he was just straight. I'm like, oh, okay, Ford, what is going on with you, buddy?
Yeah, and like, we're told that this guy's a prick, but from the professor, who could have any number of motives for doing this, and like, the guy doesn't seem like the most friendly person, but also 7 people just rode up on here on these giant beasts and are like, we're taking over this shit, and
we're here to do your job
and stuff.
You could do
you expect anyone to react that way. And I mean, he wasn't that bad in that conversation, but
no, but it's the Mighty Nine are really great persons.
Persons.
They're very personable, as they've
like, don't talk.
shown, as they've shown almost every time they roll into a new town and just act like dicks.
Hi, I'm new here. I'm gonna beat you up. Give me what I want. But yeah, they get some information that a couple people have perished, I think.
Yeah.
God, they're really mean to that guy.
Well, the foreman also, like, he offers a counter deal, doesn't he? For,
oh yeah, like, I'll give you, like, what did they pay you? I'll pay you more, something like that.
Yeah, he was definitely like, wants to get a stab at Wacko. So there's definitely some kind of rivalry going on between these two,
which could be lucrative for the.
And I really want to know what the research, and I hopefully will see more of that once they get into the mines or whatever. But I kind of want to know what's going on.
Yeah, do you have any
appear
thoughts
too.
of what it could be? Like, why presumably stone giants would want to? Did they run into one of these like underground cathedral type things similar to what they ran into with the fire giants for that like hot second? Where they like there was just like a big citadel under
Well, I don't
the.
know, because like, could it be also another, this abyssal sort of theme that's been running too? Is there some other sort of nefarious? Because I don't remember the personality of stone giants in general. I know hill giants are a little aggressive, but aren't stone giants are a
No,
little more?
They're like
they're not. So before we get too far,
Yeah.
they basically pay a dude. They were told that we hear the story from the people who have been there's point of view, and that they were attacked by a bunch of these large gray giants, and that some people were killed, the rest of them had to run away because they couldn't fight that, and they took what they could and had to abandon both the mine and the steelworks. And since then, as far as they know, it's been occupied by these large gray giants. And then they pay someone 4 gold now, 4 gold later, to kind of escort them there and show them where everything is. So yeah, they get there and they do see that these are large gray giants, which we assume to be stone giants. And stone giants are not aggressive. They're not evil, per normal typical D&D
Hmm.
lore. So it is weird and out of character, and that's what they've said. Both the foreman and Professor Wako, like they didn't expect the giants to do this. That's kind of out of character for them. So
Hmm.
there's definitely something weird going on about why this happened. Um, which to me, we also find out that there are seven of them occupying this place. Um, it's weird, not weird to me, because it's the Mighty Nine, and this is what they do apparently, I guess. Um, but I don't know why they don't just try to talk to the giants. Like when they say that it's out of character that something like this is happening, and you've got people in your party that can speak giant,
Hmm.
it might be worth that. And
Yeah.
they did try to sneak in. They were noticed and attacked. So maybe it's time to try a different tactic and try to talk to them, or maybe it's too late. I don't know. But I feel like they could potentially be reasonable.
Especially
Hmm.
when they had this mini arc for a hot second of like, we're gonna turn a new leaf. Let's stop killing people. Let's try to like talk to them and find another way to get through this altercation. Um, but no, they don't go in guns blazing. They do try to sneak. They get caught, and that does kind of put a bad light on people, especially when you're just like, okay, now let's talk. But I 100% think
Yeah.
that's like the
Well,
right thing to do here. Maybe they uncovered like another dodecahedron, but for the snow giants, like the snow giant version of it. Like you
um,
broke into our rock nursery where our kids are. Like we're gonna defend it and fix it.
so like, can the Mighty Nine defeat 7 stone giants? No,
Not at
they
once.
just can't. Um, Bo talks about doing what they did with the Lorenzo's hideout and kind of trying to sneak up on them and take them out one by one. That's not going to happen here. There's no way they
Hmm.
can do something like that in this big, kind of more open area with these really big creatures who can see and hear
And have like
farther.
an innate ranged ability that does a shit ton of damage. To just
Yeah.
throw anything at you.
So hopefully they try to do some talking or something. Um, why do you guys think the stone giants are there? Do you think that they did this on purpose, or do you think that this was like kind of an accident or something out of happenstance? Because that's my opinion. That the giants maybe fled here or are occupying this for some other reason, not because they wanted to do this.
Yeah, I feel like there might be something that like either pushed them out of the area, because they said they knew the giants like lived nearby, and then they come into this. A mine is a pretty defensible place. Like, I mean, it's interesting that they chose to like, and they're hanging out in like this mine now, um, and the steelworks or whatever this thing is. So, I mean, there could be something that maybe that called their attention and brought them in there. But I think it's more like sort of like a displaced. Maybe there's a bigger bad or something out
Yeah,
there.
I
Because
had
I mean, it seems to be. I don't. I'm jumping with the themes, but there might be. I mean, this is the Gordranus, where anything can go.
yeah, and where not like historically, but where normally an entity that is seen as evil anywhere else is an evil. You got the entire city of beasts of things that you would fight normally that are just like normal things. I hadn't even thought like maybe they were displaced. But I think that would be like a fun new story quest to be like, all right, you've moved in on this place and you've killed them, but oh wait, something did something worse to you. I'm gonna go find that, and oh, something did worse to you. Like find this chain that's like been flipped upside down.
2 months later, Yez is still Gordranis, and they're in a completely different place.
Nugget knows how to sit now, and also he's a giant displacer pup or whatever, a blink dog, full grown.
Yeah, I think something like that has to happen. I mean, we haven't heard anything about them finding anything or anything being different about what they're doing in the mines. I mean, she just said it's just like an iron and copper mine. There's nothing special about it. The real thing is the blade works. Like it's where they were manufacturing things for the war, and that's what they're really concerned about and what they were working on. And that's where some of the giants were kind of watching and guarding. So unless for some reason the giants wanted something regarding those machines, I feel like it just might have just been a thing of proximity, and this is a really defensible place to hang out in.
2 fun things in chat. One, we've got a Shrek storyline from Dragon_Rider with X's on the side. Could be fun. They're like, what are you doing here? It's mine, And then from King Sundu, I have an idea that Empire wizards are trying to infect them, maybe Gaius, or maybe a darker side of the dynasty is trying to upseat the ruling class. That could be another possibility where some entity that knows that this is a very important location for the production of war machines, like just, hey, giants, go stay there. They're not going to be able to use it. You don't have to really engage in combat. Just, keep them out of this place for as long as you can.
Well, so that's what I was thinking. Was that this has to do with the Empire. The Empire sent these giants somehow. Now, the thing is, like, they're pretty far away from the front lines now that they've gotten all the way to Gordranis, so it might be a little bit more difficult. But don't forget, there's also the question mark of Dairon, who is heading this way. I don't think she has the capability of doing and coordinating something like this, but you never know.
One of them is 3 Dairons stacked on top of each other in disguises.
But that would be that'd be a really interesting point, is what happens if this quest that they're working on is something that Dairon created, and they're going, again, butting back and forth of, okay, well, the dynasty's telling us to do this thing that implicates Dairon, and we need to go her. Like, how are they going to settle that?
Yeah, it puts...
Should they have already reached out to Dairon in some sort of fashion, you think? Them like, hey, we made it to the Empire. And
I mean, letting her know that they have, like, tokens of favor from the Bright Queen might be a little important to let her know, I think.
Like, I don't know why when she gets there,
Bo hasn't thought about that yet, but...
Dairon's gonna get there and like, oh, we've discovered 7 Empire agents that are now working for this side, and blah da 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 da. Who are they? Oh shit, that's my protege. Now I have to kill my daughter.
Yeah, you would think Jester was so good for a while there with sending messages every single night, like burning all of her spell slots to do stuff, and she hasn't really done that the past few times they've rested. And there are so many messages they should be sending right now with everything that they've done.
Another one from King Sandu. Well, we are aware of an organization who is willing to create simulacrum for profitable agents. They very well could have made more Dairon.
Yeah, but she doesn't trust
and she's
the
not with
Cerberus Assembly.
Yeah, she's not with the Assembly. She's with the
She wants to... Yeah, she believes that they are nothing but trouble. And wants to rip them out of the Empire.
I don't know. We've talked a lot of things that like I didn't think of about stone giants. But so we do have a question form that we put out after each live episode of Critical Role, where you can ask us long form questions without worrying about dealing with spoilers on like Twitter. It's really the only social media we use. But we got a cool one today from an average nerd. It's not really about this episode, but it's about the whole consecution thing with the dodecahedron. Since we're kind of at the end of the episode, like the end of the live episode, we'll kind of talk about this one. It's pretty long. Strap in. Hey folks, I have a couple thoughts for your consideration. The consecuted Kryn being reborn into newborns near the beacon sounds a bit like the theme in the show Babylon 5, and that an older alien race, known as the Minbari, noticed that their collective racial soul was being diminished over time, as if they were losing them to the ether. At the closing of a ruthless and bloody holy war against the humans in which humanity was sorely outmatched and on the cusp of survival, the Minbari discovered that their souls were being reborn into humans, not being lost. This caused them to immediately surrender in order to end the war, because Minbari do not kill Minbari. This makes me think that one possible avenue for peace between the dynasty and the empire, if there are potentially innumerable citizens of the empire who host Kryn souls or are descended from those hosts, then the dynasty will likely wish to ensure their safety. Thus, a combination of cutting out obvious cancers on both, in one or both, plus some form of demonstrated soul bound between the two could lead to peace. What do we think of this? I've never seen Babylon 5. Dustin was kind of walking me through some of it earlier, but it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, I know nothing about Babylon 5 either. But doesn't this kind of go back to the fact that we know that the Jorhasians were sneaking into the Empire and stealing kids and stuff? That's their solution was, we need to get our own back. At least that's how I.
Yeah, like, and I feel like, I mean, it's a neat idea, and I mean that is kind of happening. The idea that, you know, they have these beacons, and so these souls are being like reborn in Empire. But yeah, it seems like their solution is not trying to like show that, hey, you know, these are our souls, because I think they treat the Luxon with a pretty high regard. Like, yeah, we just want that back, and they go in and they're taking these kids. Which I don't know if there's a way for these two to be at peace, because we don't know exactly everything that's going on. And the thing with Babylon 5, the Minbari were a very spiritual kind of people. So like when they found out that their souls were being reborn in humans, they have a strict code for that kind of thing. And the dynasty is a little different than that, I feel, and they're willing to, I don't know. But it's an interesting point that I didn't think of, but there is that neat little parallel kind of ideas between, like, I love Babylon 5, but it's kind of cool. But I doubt that anything peaceful can come from anything like that, because I think they want every bit of the Luxon back in their control.
Well, do you think that would change if the Empire figured out why the Kryn were attacking? Like, if they figured out that, like, oh, these kids have part Kryn souls, maybe there is something there.
I feel that those who might be in actual control of the Empire would want that power for themselves in the rebirthing and living multiple lives sort of thing. I don't know.
I almost feel like they wouldn't even believe that that's happening.
Yeah, I don't think, like, they feel more of a scientific basedness from the Luxon.
They're flat
They're just like, that's bullshit, and that's not an approved deity. Stop worshiping this thing that's not real.
Oh, I forgot that.
So I feel like they, with their, especially with the way they control what can be worshipped, like anything that would be like, this is actually the first god before any other gods existed, I feel they'd be like, nope. I feel like it's just a little too far in their belief systems right now for any sort of, there's not going to be any peace between these two, because it's too deep right now. Like, the whatever has been happening on both sides and whatever goals each side has, it's just right now it's not in that
the main
stage.
way to peace is murder.
Annihilate. Yeah.
Murder. Get rid of the ones that don't like
strategic murder.
Yeah.
Cool. So what else is there in this episode? We're kind of at the end.
That's pretty much it. My only other thing I wanted to kind of ask is, like, what do you guys think they're actually going to do? Do you think that they're going to try to sneak in and dismantle these giants one by one? Because I think that's a horrible
I think so too. What I feel like it might go is they'll go in guns blazing, realize they're outmatched, and someone will make a desperate plea to try and talk.
See, but I don't want it
And
to be.
I mean, it'd have to be
It shouldn't.
Caduceus. Caduceus is the only one who speaks giant, as far as
Yeah, it shouldn't be a desperate plea. It should all right, you caught us. Hey, can we talk? Start now.
Yeah, but I don't. That's not really how they.
I know, but it should be.
It's mostly
right,
they
that's
go,
what
oh shit, we've dived in too far again.
Yeah, they saw us. We gotta kill them now, or
yeah.
die trying.
Yeah, and I mean, while stone giants are not evil, I don't think that going in and killing 2 of them and then saying, "Oh, can we talk now?" is really going to go over that well. They're just going to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Caduceus is the only one that I know of that speaks giant. And also, they talked a bunch. They lied a bunch about how that they were all giant killers. I don't know if any of them have ever seen giants before. Technically, Lorenzo was a giant. Onis are types of giants.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, they don't know shit about giants as far as
yeah,
I
they've
know.
never fought. I mean, they saw a hill giant walking through the streets.
They saw the
day before.
Or Ettins.
And they did fight in Etten, but those are dumb.
Yeah.
And they have. I mean, they're talking to a next ring up ordened giants. They're fair. I mean, they're more intelligent than an Etten.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go poorly. I think they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna try to fight because that's what the Mighty Nine does.
I'm hoping Matt gets the first word. The next session doesn't start with roll initiative. Next session starts with who goes there. The giants questioning them to
right now we did just
give them the chance to talk before they do the Mighty Nine thing.
Well, and really the only level-headed person that might think of that is going to be Caduceus to
and he's
talk them because he can speak giant.
And he's been talking up a lot more. Hey, this is a bad thing. Hey, this is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, because he has beliefs that he needs to follow, and the Mighty Nine tend to not follow the same morals that he has.
And Caduceus has been with him long enough now to hey, I've got a voice in this too.
Yeah, but
we've got
I don't think Matt's going to do that because these giants' first reaction to being snuck up on was violence.
Yeah.
So while I don't think that they are particularly super violent creatures, I don't think they're probably on high alert. And obviously, when you're being snuck up on like that, that's just your thing. But the giant didn't try to talk to them; he just hurled a rock.
No, he just hurled a rock.
If they were talking to happen, it would have happened then.
Right, and more so if it was just a warning shot and not a point blank or right on the person they saw, not point blank, but they hit her.
Well, yeah, and especially it would make sense if they're hiding out in this mine, their first instincts are going to be attack whatever is coming in. So it'll be a fun episode for their end of the Kickstarter party and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, can you even imagine if they go in there and fight, there will be deaths. 100% that's going to happen.
Well, that's what we have. Black Vigil in the chat.
Half of the party dies, and then they have their party.
And then they have their party. I know. It's just
we've got the worst. Black Vigil in the chat saying, "I'd love to see Matt knock them down a peg. They resort to violence a bit too easily these days." Fair.
I agree.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that's why I'm scared because
yeah.
Yeah. So that ends it for us tonight. Thank you guys in the chat for hanging out. Sorry for all the technical issues.
Technology.
Yeah, so we're Critical Reroll. We do this every Sunday after an episode of Critical Role. Join us, send us questions, talk to us on the internets.
Next week's up in the air. We know it's Easter. We'll figure it out. We'll keep you posted on the internet about what we're doing.
And for that, you can follow us at Critical Reroll on Twitter. My name's Matt. I was one of your hosts. You can find me on the internet at Matt_Abernathy. I make shirts and stuff.
I almost wore one of your shirts today. I'm Dustin at GeoNerd on Twitter. I talk about things like rocks and TTRPGs in this show.
Matt, why do you keep leaving things at Dustin's house? You left shirts there this time too?
Mm-hmm. It's easier for when I go visit.
I'm Herky and I make bad jokes and you shouldn't follow me anywhere.
What about your neural network?
Oh, when I was in the hospital, I wasn't able to do anything with that. So
I made it sad. Thanks everybody for watching. Everybody say bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.